I always prefer to work in a manner where it is not entirely clear, because that allows me to make things that I could not conceive in the beginning. My name is Theseus Chan. I'm from Singapore. I am the designer for the magazine WERK, and I'm very happy to be here to share my point of view at the KUNSTHAUS Göttingen. Besides showcasing what was already done for the past 22 years, it is also doing something new. I think the idea is not to plan too much, but rather to look at the space and see, how this collaboration with Gerhard turns out. And towards the end of 100 days, hopefully we have something. Maybe we have a few books, maybe we have put together something that was not entirely planned in the beginning, but we will have something in the end. So what you see on that wall was the beginning of this process. I did this manifesto, which Gerhard feels that it's interesting that we should declare it as a spirit of this room, like how things are done here that are unplanned, things that are done using materials that are found, reusing materials. So that manifesto stays in this room because it's a reminder to me to constantly work in that manner. And on the wall, these portrait prints are an attempt to sort of crystallize people I've seen in and around KUNSTHAUS. I just thought that I just wanted to put some abstract portraiture. But mostly I thought it'd be nice that if these are just my interpretation of people that I've seen, who came to the gallery, and I have a peek at them, and I try to draw them, try to print them from memory or something. I think that's good because I think in context it is related to this space that I'm working in. One of the idea or concept of this space is not to generate new or materials to work on. A lot of this material that you see around here are materials that are used already in the process of making, for example, printing the manifesto. These are the printing plates that I'm using to do the print on. And on the wall here you see this crude frame of corrugated board are made from the shipping boxes that send these boxes here. I just wanted to use as little materials as possible to generate what I wanted to express. So back in June, after the opening, after we installed the first so-called iteration of this space, based on this principle that I've described, I came back here again to make this book. And what's in this book are materials that I've created, prints or drawings or whatever that I've created while I'm staying here. And this includes some photographs that I've taken, photographs from various people who have contributed. So I was just like letting this thing sort of evolve by itself, where when it goes from one part of the process of printing to the binding, and to the finishing, I'm excited to see how it's going to end up, Would it end up the way I feel about it? Not so much the look about it, but would I feel happy about it or creatively satisfied? I really don't know. I struggle with that sort of thing all the time, and I'm two-faced to it, One part of me encouraged me and say, just go, just be bold, just accept whatever that is created. Another one is that I wanted to control it. I wanted to control it in the way I perceive my sense of aesthetics and design. So it's constantly sort of these two spheres that emotional spheres, that somehow affect me. So I really do not know how I would feel. All of us are just so fixated with getting that perfect image, so to speak, on print, that we have negated the fact that there's actually some inherent, some perverse, inclination to have any sort of beauty, The overall objective is to use materials that will be discarded in the typical printing process, okay? When you want to print something nice, the machine would adjust itself and, over sheets of, I don't know how many pieces of paper before it stabilizes and the ink stabilizes and you get a perfect image being replicated and printed. But I'm reversing this thing. I wanted to use only those warm-up parts and not the proper printed parts. I want to open eyes to be able to say that these things that we discard Did we actually look at it properly and say that there's actually inherent beauty in this imperfection? And so I think it proves a point, because the way when we sort of manipulate the machine to so-called malfunction, result in this colorful print that extends the entire sheet of paper. They look like dye at some point, but it was just manipulating this machine so that it doesn't function what's intended to do, you know. Things like we sort of altered the water and ink ratio or different ink pressure and things like that. But I think the print operators having a lot of fun. They keep saying they have never done like that before, and like, this is the easiest printing. As much as I thought that there should be some consistency, I think they're all going to be different, you know. Maybe some better than others. When I say better or not so good, I mean, again, that's a relative point, you know. It all depends on how we are brought up to perceive what is good and what is not good, you know. So, I don't know. So we went to the binary the other day. I've gone to a binary before, so I basically know the process, you know. But I didn't expect such a big scale. That binary is like huge. My God, so big. Obviously, I think the books that they have put out are really of high quality. It's very precise and all that. And because they have honed it down to such a precision, I think binding it properly is not a question. I think the larger question is, can they bind them improperly, properly, you know what I mean? Secretly in my heart, there was something that I always wanted to try, and I've asked different printers in Singapore that can they do it this way, and most of the time they say that it cannot be done, you know. I wanted to, in my mind, imagine a book that is, the manifestation of the book is inside out, you know. Can you sort of turn the book inside out and that become the physical object of the book, you know? And for some strange people, they can do it. Someone went to the press and then he came back and then showed, oh, is it what you're talking about? And all that. All of a sudden, wow, this is a miracle, you know? So I'm excited. I do not know how it will look like, but I know there's a promise of me achieving something that I have always wanted for a long time, at least design-wise or in terms artistic-wise, you know. I think it would be good if someone feel that it gives them courage to do what they want to do without the burden of feeling that they would not be accepted by people. I feel it is important that you have that courage to believe in yourself, to remind yourself to be bold artistically, you know. Not just because you need that acceptance from people, hence you do your work. You have to do your work regardless of whether you are being accepted or not accepted. I think that one takes courage, that one takes time to believe in yourself that way. Even though if most people don't accept it, but if you continue doing it, I believe that becomes your voice, and it is your voice and no one can take away from you.